Hi guys, and welcome to part 2 from these two. So Hullbreacher got banned, and that led to a lot of discussions that we had in this video, and now we're getting to that part 2, where basically we're gonna try to solve the problem. If you haven't taken a look at this video, I highly recommend checking it out, because it goes over a little bit about the problems of EDH and Commander, and a little bit about bannings and such. But before this video begins, I would like to make a short disclaimer, or two actually. So what I said in the previous video was that I'm gonna solve both the casual and cEDH, how we're gonna fix that. However, when I started to write the manuscript for this video, I realized it became quite long and quite complex. So therefore, we're only gonna talk about how to solve and make everyone happy in casual, and the solution for cEDH is quite different, so that's gonna be part 3. The second disclaimer is that I'm a nobody. It doesn't matter what I actually say in this video because it won't be implemented. That's what you think. We're actually gonna try to see if we can implement it in a community communicative way. But in the end, all I'm gonna say, like, Sheldon isn't gonna watch this, and I'm a very small person. I don't have any power in the rules committee, or I'm not part of the CAG, and I don't want to be part of it anyway. So what I'm gonna talk about, you're not gonna see that in effect in general. But it is fun to talk about solutions and stuff. Let's begin with looking at some of the things that already exist but doesn't do the job. You might have heard of the power level between 1 to 10, where basically 1 is as casual as you can get it, and 10 is the maximized cEDH ultimate power level, and like 8 is still very competitive, but a 5 is very casual. So this does something of the job. However, I think putting a number on things might be a little bit abstract, as people have various opinions of what power level their decks are on. Also, it's not really a problem of power level, it's more of a problem of intent. What I talked about in that previous video was that the problem is that people go into games with various expectations of what they want to experience during these games. And this is where people's opinions and people's feelings clash and differ. Some people like Hullbreacher, some people hate Hullbreacher, some people like Possibility Storm, some people hate Possibility Storm, some people love Winter Orb, some other people hate Winter Orb, depending on what form of experience that you're looking for. Another thing we need to talk about is, or mention, is the Rule 0, which basically means that the Rules Committee hasn't a set in stone ban list. They have a guideline ban list, kinda. And Rule 0 is that you can make anything with that ban list. Your playgroup can ban individual cards and unban other cards. And this is a functional thing. However, once you're starting to have a more open local game store playgroup, when everyone is playing mixed with each other, implementing Rule 0 could get a little bit complicated, as there are so many cards that you need to have a discussion about. It works great with smaller groups, where you have maybe 5 people or 6 people that regularly play with each other only, and you don't really play with anyone else, and you play home at your kitchen table, and then you can basically have the small long-term discussions about certain cards. Then Rule 0 works perfectly. That individual playgroup will eventually create its own individual ban list. But we need a much better system, something that bigger groups or non-existing groups, people that are just playing randomly with other people at a local game store, can use to make more harmonic games between each other. And my solution is to basically have decks that are aiming at achieving a specific playing experience, and then to basically have a short conversation about what form of experience that person that you're playing, or the pod that you're playing against, are looking for, and just to make sure that everyone is looking for the same kind of experience, so you get that harmonic game. Let me explain this a little bit more in depth. So here I have a few examples of what casual players are looking for in playing experience, and I also added cEDH down here at the bottom, because that is the playing experience that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a competitive match against other people that are trying to win and prevent me from winning. But if you look at casual, they have more variants of different things that they are looking for. For example, we have chaos, which is basically that you're looking for a chaotic match with random effects. You're not really looking to win, you just want to see chaotic things that can happen from various people's decks. Then you have group hug, where people are basically helping each other out, creating a political... I don't actually know exactly what people enjoy about group hug, but there are a lot of casual group hug decks out there. And then you have some stompy decks that are just looking to create big board states with big dices on them, and who can muster the biggest army. Yeah, people are enjoying different things, and that is important. We should allow people to enjoy different things. And there are of course more examples to these variations, but what I think the rules committee should do is basically write guidelines and try to look into all of the different variations that casual people enjoy to experience, and have a more detailed list, but also give details onto what those means. To give you an example, here's what I mean with chaos. Chaos might be the kind of style I know most about, because there's a specific playgroup at my local game store that really enjoy these kinds of things. They're looking for big explosive impact. They like cards like EDH, Narset. I'm not talking about competitive Narset, I'm talking about casual Narsets that are doing big explosive things. You attack with Narset and suddenly you cause this big thing that has a huge impact, and then you cause this thing that has a huge impact, and game becomes very chaotic and very random. And that is also why they usually like Vile Smasher, because that is also just random. They don't know if they're gonna win, they're gonna throw a coin and explosive damage is gonna happen, and that is really fun for some people. I actually think this could be fun for me. It's not really my kind of style, but people enjoy this kind of thing. And on their web page, they would basically have all kinds of variations of these things, write a little bit about what people like when they're playing these things, showcase example of cards like this, and then just talk a little bit about what they don't enjoy playing when they're looking for that kind of experience. And this is where this becomes implementable. You see, if you build various of these decks, a deck for chaos, a deck for group hug, a deck for stompy things, and a deck for cEDH, you can go to your local game store and you can basically play with everyone. I usually do it like I choose a commander and then I bring 200 cards with me, where basically I have a sideboard, you could call it, and I tweak the deck so that it functions towards what I'm playing against. So I can make my deck into a competitive deck, and I can make my deck into a casual deck. I can make my deck into a specific kind of casual deck, depending on what form of experience people are looking for. So that I can also play with everyone if I don't find any cEDH players to play against. And this is where this is implementable. You see, you can ask your pod what kind of thing they're looking for. You can basically put all your decks on the table, and people usually do that. They usually say, here are my decks, here are what they're doing, and here's their power level. But you can also say, this deck is basically a Staxy deck. Do you want to play against something like Ursa Winthrob Stacks? Okay, you don't want to play against that? Okay, how about Idris Chaotic Storm? It's not really trying to win, it's just putting a lot of explosive things. But oh, you don't want to play against that? Like, here, I have a group hug deck. Oh, you're into this big stompy game where you're building up huge board states and you like group hug? Yeah, I will play my group hug deck. Now you had a very simple communication, and communication is key to success here, with the people you're gonna play against, figuring out what they are into, and putting a deck on the table that they are okay with, showcasing decks that you also have, and just asking, is deck okay? Can I play this deck against you? And then you've figured out a deck you can play, and you're creating a harmonic game where everyone is happy. I think this is an efficient way of creating constructed communication. And if it didn't work out, casual is a really functional, self-contained format. All that someone needs to say, if they didn't feel that this had a good flow, a great feeling to their game, they just need to say, can you play a different deck? My deck can't function versus yours. This doesn't feel good. Can you play something different? But sometimes that doesn't work either, because, now I don't really like to curse on this channel, so I'm just gonna say they are uncommunicative or very stubborn, or let's call them bad people. they don't want to change. They want to play their big, powerful Stompy deck, very cEDH decks versus casual people. And cEDH people, real cEDH people, they hate that. I just want to put that on the video here. We cEDH people, we don't like when other cEDH people go and pub stomp on casual people because they just enjoy that. You might remember this one. Let's just put this one in here. Pub Stompers. These people are looking for games where they are superior to everyone else. They have an advantage because they have built a cEDH decks and they're playing against casuals. And in this, the only solution you have is basically say, can you change deck? Your deck is too good. And if they don't want to change, then you simply say, I don't think this is a good fit. I don't think we should play against each other. You can look over there at some cEDH players. You can go to that table. I think you're gonna have an equal match, but your deck is just too good. So we're gonna try and see if we can find a different pod. Simple answer, be polite and say, I don't wanna play against you. Or you could go the more hard route and say, alright, then I'm out of here. I would also like to confess and mention that I have been an accidental pub stomper. So I built this really strong deck and I sat down and I said, let's battle. And I just happened to have a stronger deck than all of my other opponents. And that is a miscommunication. What we simply should have talked about is, what is the general power level? What is the general experience you want to look for? And let's try to figure out if we can make something fit among all of our decks. The takeaway from this video is that what I'm trying to do here is showcase how you can make communication easier and more structured. But also don't be afraid to walk away and say no. For example, if you're feeling that the pod you're playing in isn't towards your fit, it's not what you're looking for, you don't have a deck that can really play inside this kind of pod environment that the rest of the people are playing, simply just say, thank you so much, I don't think this is a game for me, I'm gonna look for a different pod. There's nothing wrong with that. But also the big takeaway is try to understand, ask, have a communication about what people are looking for. And this can be done really simple, really smooth, within 1 minute. And instead of actually having a ban list, yeah, you see, in casual, you don't really need to have a ban list. The moment you have a ban list, it's not really casual in my opinion. In casual, you should be allowed to play everything. But if you have guidelines such as these, you create a form of a ban list, individual ban list for each kind of structure. However, you don't need to sit and actually ban cards. You're just putting a guideline of what people should play and what they shouldn't play towards specific enjoyments. I have been thinking about writing a bigger blog about how it would look like. Basically write all of the different things people enjoy experiencing when they're playing casual Magic, casual EDH that is, and then just basically write the guidelines to what that means, and what cards you should play and what cards you shouldn't play, and those cards that you shouldn't play are theoretically banned, or it depends a little bit about how you're using them. I hope this video helped showcasing what I'm kind of talking about, but if you still have any opinions and questions regarding this, please leave those in the comments below and I will try to answer those, because this is a topic that I'm quite passionate about. And in the case, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In part 3, we're gonna do this, but talk about competitive, because that's a different solution. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.